Guys, I need to let you know that this is a review of a comic book. It's no way endorsed by the creators. If I don't tell you this, the entire multiverse will suffer major ramifications. Dogs will walk down the streets in stilettos. Everyone will watch The Watchmen. Batman will turn into the Frankenstein monster. Such travesties must be prevented. Thank you for your time.
Hey guys, StarCraft here, and well, as you see in the background, I'm having Doom Eternal unlocking, so once I'm done here, I'm going to play for that for a little bit. But beforehand, it's time to wrap up the new 50 in the DCU era of Deathstroke before we then get into a one-shot and then get into the main bulk of this retrospective. Yeah, we're not done yet. That's the Christopher Priest era. All 50 issues and tie-ins. That's going to take quite a while. So, yeah. Given where we left off, Rose has been taken and Tony Daniel's now off the books, leaving just Tyler Kirkham and, what was his name? Pablo Pantalina and James Bonney are still around, as now Slade is being sent somewhere else. He's now heading towards from his ally, Vince, I believe it was, sent him off to, well, get ambushed, it seems, by Lexcorp, Lex Luthor's company. But he was sure that the information was solid. He was positive. Victor, not Vince, Victor. As we've seen beforehand, how, yeah, Slade's getting ready and everything, reminding us he's a young man. We keep forgetting because Slade keeps the outfit on for so long. As after going to the guards, we meet up with Mercy Graves, who, believe it or not, is being utilized once again in Hero of the Villain's Hell Arisen. But yeah, we seem to think Lex is walking about when really it's an AI in one of his battle armors. And Slade and him tussle a little bit, just taunting, again, trying to find his daughter, and Slade, much like with Harley in the prior one, is just being all dancing around everything as this shadow figure is talking with Rose. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. As eventually the fight goes right through the floor. And, well, those of you who've seen Red Forever Evil know Alex has a bunch of Bizarro clones. They all get activated. As we then find out how 13 days ago, the shadowy figure meets up with Rose, saying that he's her salvation. And Slade now has to deal with all of these Bizarro clones. And I believe this is Kirkman's last issue. Yeah, it is. As, well, yeah, basically they're saying, like, we have to work together, Slade, I just want one thing, yada yada. Most of the dialogue still is just leading for a bunch of action. As they're basically trying to use whatever it does to knock out the Bizarros, they're trying to utilize that. But ends up instead releasing a whole lot more Bizarros. Until eventually Slade gets some electricity going. Does it work? Well, yes it does. As we then see Rose is, we find there's a package down there. Turns out the subject that was being detected and everything had a hint of Rose's hair on a comb, of which Rose is completely confused. And we now find out who the shadowy figure is. This guy known as the Lawman. Of course, Slade realizes this is yet another wild goose chase as he goes towards Victor, and basically Victor's like, I was given bad intel. Bull! As we then find out Jason Todd, the Red Hood, has shown up, and he's been tasked to deal with Slade. As we then see about 12 days ago, before everything happened, Rose is with her friend, Rachel, and is being told, you weren't going to betray me. And then we find out that everything was a setup by this Lawman. And he's hired Red Hood to deal with him. And like I said, going forward, there's a whole Pablo Pantalene. And once again, all action as the two are fighting. Slade's in there monologuing. Eventually, until once again, Slade gets someone gets the upper hand of Slade. Seriously, that's been like a running thing for all this. Him being made younger did not help him, as Jason is now pointing his gun at him. As all of a sudden, Metropolis Police shows up, and Slade has to bumble his way out of here. Once he makes it up to the rooftop, the two are ready to go out again when a chopper shows up and shoots a missile at them, knocking out Jason as Slade then grabs him, gets on board, and we find out it's Victor with a bunch of his men. And then, as they head on over there, we find out that Slade's healing factor apparently maxed out. Really, all that maxed it out? As we meet up with Snakebite again. And then, yep, Victor was a traitor as he backstabbed Slade, even saying the money was too good to pass up. As we find out, the Lawman has Rose, and an outfit I really like. And now the next cover kind of makes us major spoilers. We see Ra's al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul, whichever. Oh, I take it back. This is Kirkman's last issue. I'm pretty sure now. As we're seeing, Lawman is taunting him with Rose. As we find out, this was a guy that worked with Slade and was believed dead. And he pretty much was until he was kept alive by the people they were after. And it turns out he had a metagene that can cause people to do things, which is actually what he's been doing to Rose, utilizing his mind tricks after a while. And Snakebite and all that are working with him, and basically Lawman's insane. He just wants revenge. But then Jason gets up and starts to help out because basically he's like, yeah, I'm done with the deal. I finished the job. This is my free time. As then Slade starts to fight off with Snakebite. And then Jason is made to believe Batman's there saying, let's go find a Joker, as he walks off. When he said, why didn't you kill him? Might eat him later. Yeah, that's just a weak way to get rid of him. As Rose then starts to remember everything, and the fact that Rachel died for nothing. She wasn't a traitor. She was just manipulated. As now that she stepped out of it, Lawman then stabs her. Yeah, this version doesn't have the precog. As then the two are down and out until it looks all of a sudden they seem to vanish from Lawman's senses. How? Why? Well, it's Jericho's doing. And Jericho is working with Ra's. As the next one, then we see Slade's in the middle of a mission, actually utilizing his use. As it turns out, he's now working with Ra's for the time being. Again, an arrow tie, I'm pretty sure. As well, Rose and Jericho are still talking, trying to figure out what to do. Although it appears that Lawman is still involved. But it turns out it's manipulating him so she can try and strike down Slade, but it wasn't enough. As then we have who turns out the person been controlling them all, Mysteria. It turns out that's the one they've been taking orders from. Slade and the others eventually make their way to Mysteria, Lawman, and Snakebite, and fight their way through. Basically, that's all this is again. A whole lot of action, pontificating, yada yada. And then all of a sudden, Lawman still has control over Rose as the two are still fighting it out. Jericho helps in snapping her out of it. And then we find out that a lot of this was saying how they could save Rose, but he'll be forever indebted to Ra's. Basically saying swear allegiance, yada yada. And well, it looks like it feels like he has no choice. But yeah, so he starts fighting his way through a bunch of other guys to get through until oh yeah, we have Jericho entering Rose's mind. That's not how his powers are supposed to work, you know. As basically, yeah, trying to use him to get, to convince her to come back to the living. Slade is fighting his way through. It seems like as this goes on, Lawman became blacker and blacker. I don't know how to make of that. As yeah, again, they just keep again. It's just one big final showdown. Snakebite gets involved as like and Mysteria as well. She helps out and seems to get Slade down for the count until Rose and the others show up. And yep, they basically everyone's on the bag. Victor's able to get them out of there, and it turns out that's all this was for. It was for to bring Jericho and Rose into their fold. As we then lead into the final issue of this whole run, is well, yep, it leads into for a moment you think that you find out the two are going to fight. It's in media res, as we wind to earlier, as yeah, Slade is not happy about this. He's basically saying like, I never wanted this for either of you. As they decide to try and have to take, they'll work together though to take out Victor and the others. As well, yep, they're just fighting their way through. The League of Assassins are fighting them all off. And then Slade catches up with Victor, who seems to get away. Down below, still more fighting. As, eventually, he shoots down Lawman and makes his way up to Victor. And, Brace tells him no more killing before you can kill, Victor, basically trying to taunt him. Basically, then they say, like, swear to us. As they're all saying, I swear, I swear. Then Slade kills Victor, severing their deal together from them. As we then get a big showdown between Raish and Slade. Things seems to go as well as they expect until Jericho then basically forces Raish to relinquish and release them. As they leave, and we have a much more happier ending as Slade hugs his children. But before sending them off, leaving him alone again, but on a better term. There was an annual, and I'll just skim through it. It was just basically a little story arc by hold on. Oh, come on. Phil Hester. It's just a little romp through, I believe, the Middle East. It's nothing spectacular, and it doesn't tie in anything. Just a typical Slade story, as he, once again, is just in there, undercover, doing a mission, and killing a lot of people. Yeah, that's pretty much all it is. So, that's the DCU era. Looking back over it, I'm not disappointed for getting this omnibus, especially since it completes the Deathstroke stuff that's been since New 52 for me. At the same time, it's not good. There's a reason it only lasted another 20 issues. And I gotta say, I think some of the arcs in the first one had a lot better story. This was just all mindless action. A lot of the stuff just overly stretched out and everything. And a lot of the stuff was some characterization, but nothing that's of substance. Making Slade young was completely pointless, and they'll just disregard it once we get to the Rebirth era. It's just, I just don't really know what to make of it, really. But that being said, it was still fun for what it was overall. Just a moment, but just I wish it was better. That's all I could say. But tune in tomorrow or whenever I get this done as I go over not the Rebirth yet, But instead, Deathstroke in the most unlikely of team-ups. Where's Yogi Bear? I am not joking. I'll see you guys then.